Moon Highway, you and Christia chugging Crown and Coke again?
Sober since 2019. Worse than tequila nightmares. France voicemails me in Quebecois.
Comrades, seize the Timbits. Free poutine for all. Socialism fixes stuff.
Canadians have elected a minority government with a very thin margin, depending on which parties may side with the government or with one another on any given vote. I try not to bake feelings into these things. They're math challenges, not problems with feelings. But we have to make sure that we do the work necessary to try to collaborate with parties across the aisle in order to implement the mandate that Canadians have given us.
Minister Sean Fraser is at it again.
Can you guarantee that if C9 passes, no Canadian will end up being charged because of something they've posted on Twitter or Facebook?
Well, if they commit the crime of willfully promoting hatred against another person.
A crime with a definition that you're changing.
So, but it's possible that they could be convicted for what they willfully promoting hate online today. So certainly I would hope if someone commits a crime in the real world or online that they would face the appropriate criminal penalty if in fact it's captured by the.
Everything about this is crazy. So Sean Fraser is the Minister of Justice. He is the former Minister of Immigration who broke Canada's immigration. He's the former Minister of Housing. Have you been able to buy a house lately? Yeah, that's what I thought. And now he's the Minister of Justice. We have hate speech laws in Canada. Yeah, we already have them. Like if you watch the rest of that exchange, Andrew Lawton, the Conservative Member of Parliament, goes on to tell about a man who was arrested for having a swastika. But you know what the real problem is in Canada? You get arrested, but you're let out on bail. This is crazy. This is crazy that this is the Minister of Justice's first priority when there is literally everyone begging for bail reform. And they have openly said, we've done a great job. We have reformed bail. Like they are liars and they are dangerous. Like this is at the point where it's like you have victims, you have mayors, you have premiers, you have police associations. Police cannot do their job because they go and arrest the criminal who does the swastika or the guy who breaks into your home and murders you in front of your children or breaks into your car. And guess what? They are out on bail. Or how about a guy that rapes a 3-year-old in her bed? Like, what is happening? Like, the Minister of Justice right now should be on the top of mountains being like, guys, we are going to fix this. We are going to make Canada safe. I promise you this. These laws are out of control. C-75 never should have went down this road unless that's what they wanted. Like, that's where you're creating this, Sean. Like, you are creating so much distrust and conspiracy. Like, how do you think you have good intention when this is what you're doing? It's crazy. Like, there's no other word to describe what this is other than crazy. Your priority is to go and find people to put them in jail for a Facebook post instead of enforcing freaking laws that we already have and ensuring that people who are murdering people aren't out on bail? Dude, like, it's like, quit. You said you wanted to go spend more time with your family. Do you remember that? Oh, but then Mark Carney decided he was going to run, so you saw that we're still going to have a job. You lied about that, and you're doing a terrible job protecting Canadians from violent criminals, and you're doing a terrible job standing up for victims.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.
Well, let me be clear on Stellantis. I'm extremely disappointed about this decision, and not only am I disappointed, it's completely unacceptable. So we will fight for these jobs. We will fight for the jobs at Brampton. We'll fight for the jobs that were committed by Stellantis, and we'll fight for our auto sector. I've been in contact with Lana Payne, the head of Unifor, yesterday and today. I've been in contact with Flavia Volpe, who's an important voice in the sector. We've been working hand in glove also with the Ford government, and we're one strong Team Canada together. And the company has commitments under different types of agreements with the government, including the fact that we provided support for the retooling of the very Brampton facility that right now is sitting idle. So we will make sure that we push the company and we hold them to account. And at the same time, what we want is we want to make sure that the workers are well treated, and their support needs to be extended by another year until 2027 at least. So we will continue to push, and we will continue to make sure that we're fighting for the jobs. And I'll continue to work night and day on this issue. I've had a conversation with the Prime Minister this morning and a conversation with Minister LeBlanc as well.
So I was wondering how you respond to Mr. Poilievre's comments.
I think this is not time to do politics. The time right now is absolutely to be one team Canada. And when we faced really tough circumstances in the past, we were there united. In 2009, when the company was facing major financial difficulties, Canadians were there. And so we expect Stellantis now to be there for Canadians. And by the way, 150,000 cars made by Stellantis are sold every year in Canada. And so Canadians know what to do when a company doesn't necessarily have the interests of Canadians at stake. And finally, my last point is, of course we'll sit down with the company. Of course we will want to make sure that we can continue to work with them to see what can be done with the Brampton plant. I've said that to the Canadian CEO of Stellantis yesterday. I've reiterated our commitment to make sure that there are new models that can be built in Brampton at the Stellantis facility, because at the end of the day, we know that the Canadian workers are the best in line when it comes to the auto sector. So we heard through a phone call we had with the company yesterday. And so in these circumstances, the process in which that was done was actually something that we really didn't appreciate. And so we've been engaging with the company for months now, knowing that the Brampton facility was going to be retooled. We've invested millions of dollars in that facility based on the commitment that they would be investing in a new model. And so that's why, if they don't do so, we'll hold them to account. Meanwhile, the door is always open to have more further investments on the part of Stellantis.
I wanted to ask you a bit about sort of the experience of people with disabilities in general, accessing public services, and also healthcare, other kinds of public services. It's important to me. I think it should be important to all of us that people have their dignity affirmed when they're accessing services and that they're treated equally. I wonder if you could just share, in general terms, how you would see the experience of people with disabilities raising issues or seeking public services, interacting with the healthcare system. How would you evaluate kind of how those experiences are based on what you're hearing from your members?
Well, I think in all transparency, I think since the bill was brought in around Track 2 Maid, which made people with disabilities the only group eligible for medical assistance in dying when they're not dying, that has certainly changed people's interaction with the healthcare system quite dramatically. People with disabilities are now very much afraid in many circumstances to show up in the healthcare system with regular health concerns, because they're often made as suggested as a solution to what is considered to be intolerable suffering that happens to be caused by some of the things like that this committee addresses, like poverty and the situations that people with disabilities disproportionately find themselves in compared to other Canadians.
Okay, that's very striking, and I don't want to be accused of putting words in your mouth, but it sounds like what I'm hearing you saying is that people who have disabilities are interacting with healthcare, seeking other kinds of public services, are proactively being offered Maid when they're seeking completely different services. Is that?
That is correct.
Okay,
that is what I am saying.
Is that is that common? Are you hearing about that a lot, or is it weekly?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're hearing weekly complaints from people who live with disabilities who are seeking other kinds of services, and someone says to them, "Well, have you thought about Maid?" Yes. And are you? What do you think we should do about that as legislators? Do you think we should try to try to just to stop government officials from proposing Maid to people who are not seeking it, who are seeking other kinds of supports and services?
Well, I think the disability community has made their case that we should repeal, and the UN CRPD committee has also affirmed that Canada should repeal Track 2 Maid completely. But I think in the interim, anything that anyone can do to limit this from being pushed on people with disabilities who are seeking support to live would be a welcome change. Probably not something this committee can deal with, but in your individual capacity as legislators, I'm sure you can.
I want to be clear that I agree with you about Track 2 Maid. Taking action in Parliament is a bit like building a house on a desert island. You have to build with what has washed ashore. So you have to work within what you think is realistic. And I don't think a majority of Parliament would share your view or my view on the Track 2 Maid issue. But it's striking to me that you're saying that in the current reality, you have people that don't want Maid, aren't looking for Maid, but who people in the system, people in authority, presume should think about Maid, and people in those positions of authority are actually telling them that.
Hi everyone. One of the positive byproducts of having a really crazy long lineup here to get on my flight in Thunder Bay is I got a chance to speak with Ron. He's an energy worker and miner. He's worked in gold mines, and he now works also in the Alberta energy sector as a driller. He drives heavy trucks, he operates heavy machinery, and he's just telling me about the state of the economy. So first of all, Ron, you bought a house back in 2007 in Timmins. How much did you pay for that?
It was like $115,000.
$115,000. What can you get for $115,000 now?
You can't even get a car for that, really.
You probably can't even get a parking lot.
No. Even my kids can't even get a job.
So how old is your kid?
He's 18.
He's 18 in Calgary?
In Calgary.
And he can't get a job at, what, Tim Hortons?
Tim Hortons, Walmart, Home Depot, McDonald's, even the liquor stores there.
He's giving out resumes?
Yeah, I've even brought him around.
Right, and they're hiring temporary foreign workers. So Mark Carney says we need to have temporary foreign workers because his corporate lobbyist friends say that they want to hire foreign workers instead of Canadian kids. Well, of course they do. They can drive wages down that way. But I think Canadian jobs should go to Canadian workers like Ron's son. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%.
So we're going to abolish the temporary foreign worker program.
Look after our own first before we bring in other people.
Canada first, Canadians first. Yeah. And then how about you? You're still working hard. You've got great skills, and you're in Thunder Bay today. Were you working at a gold mine?
Yeah, I was up in the Greenstone area there.
Okay. With gold prices at record highs, surely you must be getting big pay hikes.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
You and your compatriots working in the gold mine are not seeing that money in your pocket.
No.
Well, where the hell is it going? Gold just hit $4,000. Why aren't the gold miners making more money?
The wage is not there. Definitely not.
Where's it going?
I have no idea. Oh. They don't even give it, like, I remember back in the day, they used to give out good bonuses, whatever. Now they don't, you barely get money for your travel.
And you're the guy doing all the work, and you're not making the money. There's a bunch of problems here. One, it takes 19 years to get a mine approved. So when gold prices go up, you'd think miners would start digging in Canada, where we have lots of gold, but they have to wait almost 2 decades to get a permit. So what do? They go and dig gold elsewhere. That means other workers get the jobs.
Yeah.
Secondly, we have very high taxes in Canada, which is both on the businesses that would dig those mines and the workers who do the hard labor to get it done. So even when you do earn a paycheck, it doesn't end up in your buck. Yeah, you're taxed to death. More money for tax than food, clothing, and shelter combined. So you're getting screwed on that end. These are all failures of the federal Liberal government. Mark Carney continues along the same path as Justin Trudeau, blocking projects, taxing workers, big government. And of course, there's a very small group of insiders and globalists like him that get fabulously wealthy by screwing over the working class. Him and his corporate lobbyist friends want to bring in foreign workers to take the jobs of Ron's kid, your kid. Enough, my friends. We need to put Canadian workers first. We're going to repeal all the anti-development laws, approve rapidly to dig mines, build pipelines, LNG plants, ports, plants, you name it. We're going to get the government out of the way to get digging, building, moving, and fixing stuff. We're going to cut taxes. on work, investments, home building, and energy. And we're going to make sure that Canadian jobs go to Canadian workers by entering the temporary foreign worker program. What do you think?
100%.
You're on side?
100%.
All right, put her there, buddy. Let's get her done.
100%.
Thank you.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.
And it will be definitely part of the discussions that I will have tomorrow with my provincial and territorial counterparts. We must listen to our youth. We must take them into consideration, and we must go and meet them where they are at. That's why I'm happy today to announce that the Government of Canada is investing $10 million to expand integrated youth services in Alberta. That's really a great news. This means that new locations will be added in the province, existing services through peer programs, virtual supports, and more will be enhanced. Let me tell you more about Integrated Youth Services, or IYS, also called Kingston in Alberta. This innovative approach makes it easier for young people and their families to find the help they need quickly without a referral from a healthcare provider and at no cost. At Integrated Youth Services Hub, a young person can walk in and access a range of health, wellness, and social services all in one place. These are safe spaces for youth where they can access timely help.
As a European, I am a European, actually.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
oh.
Irish citizen. Yeah, so there you
welcome,
go.
welcome.
Speaking as a European.
WTF.
Here, here.
How many kids did you molest with Jeffrey Epstein?
More than just elbows.
And as the most European of the non-European countries,
being aware of what potential conflicts of interest you
what
sought
possible
to avoid.
conflict would you have, Stephanie? Stephanie, I'm complying with the rules. I'm complying with the rules in advance. Come on, Fiona.
These are Muslim values. These are Canadian values.
Hi, everyone. Congratulations, you're spending more money on taxes than on food, clothing, and shelter combined.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.
All right, gang, thank you all very much for watching. Aaron, Canadian Looney, like, share, subscribe. Smash that subscribe. We're trying to grow this thing. Canadian Federal Politics. Get yours right here. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.